Have you ever had this happen to you before? You're welding along and then all of a sudden it just blows out on you, or somehow you're able to get it welded and then your finished project is all warped and pulled like crazy. So if you have struggled at all with MIG welding thin metal, this video is for you because we're going to go over how to weld it without blowing through and then getting slick results, and I'll go over how to weld it properly to get minimal distortion, and I'll be going over some tips and tricks I like to use. Now, when it comes to welding thin sheet metal, you first got to determine what your goals are and what situation you're in. So for example, if you're mainly focused on not warping the metal, let's say for all the body work, the way you weld the joint will be completely different from other situations where maybe your focus is on like your welds and making the welds look good on a certain fabrication project. Or if you're welding like exhaust piping or a tank of some sort, you want your welds to not leak, and that's more your focus. So it all depends on the situation. So first things first, for either situation, proper fit up here is critical for getting the results you want. When it comes to getting a good fit up, you usually don't want gaps because number one, welding it is going to be a pain, and number two, there's more room for the weld to shrink and warp your parts. If you're worried about not getting good penetration on a tight fit up with no gap, you can get plenty of penetration by just simply turning up your settings hotter. So to fit up your joint properly, you want a nice tight joint with minimal gaps like you can see here. And then I'll go down the joint and tack it up every couple of inches. I like to keep my tacks small or grind them down so I can weld over top of them and not have the tacks make the weld look bumpy. So for situations where your focus is on good looking welds or you don't want your welds to leak, settings and technique are the biggest factors here, aside from fit up. For settings, obviously running too hot, you'll blow right through that metal, but running too cold, you won't get much penetration. So the goal is to find that sweet spot where you run hot enough to melt through the joint and get good penetration, but cool enough to be able to manage the puddle and be able to fill out the joint properly. However, finding the right setting also goes hand in hand with your technique as well. You can actually control some of this with your travel speed because by traveling a little bit faster, you can actually control a hotter setting. Running slightly hotter like this smoothens out your bead profile to make it look slick, but also gives good penetration and helps prevent any lack of fusion where it could leak. Now, when welding this, I'm just going to start at one end of the joint and travel as far as I can and minimize my starts and stops in order to keep the bead appearance as consistent as possible and avoid spots that could leak at your starts and stops. As far as technique goes in the flat position here, I'm just pointing and dragging this thing across the joint and I'm not getting fancy with it. So unlike I do for thicker metal, thin metal like this, I tend to have more of a pushing angle and my focus is more on the joint because it will be harder to see since it's smaller now. If you lose track of the joint, you can easily start wandering off the path and your weld will look like this. Now I normally recommend always watching the puddle with a slightly more of a dragging angle, but this is the exception here because if you're not watching that joint, you can very quickly lose sight of it and get off track. So for positions other than the flat position, technique will stay the same except for the vertical position. I always travel downhill in thin metal because it's nearly impossible to weld thin metal going uphill without just blowing big holes into it. And if you have your settings hot enough, you'll get plenty of penetration going downhill. Now that's in a nutshell how I would normally weld thin metal on most fabrication projects like steel tanks and exhaust piping and that kind of stuff. But there are other situations where avoiding distortion is top priority, but you also want your welds to have good penetration too. So examples of that might be like more in the auto body industry, like welding vehicle panels or patchwork or something like that. Now, this all depends on the situation because if you're welding, let's say like rocker panels or some other section where it's like has creases and bends in it, that's not going to distort near as much as if you're just welding two pieces of sheet metal together. Now, when it comes to welding flat sheet metal, in a lot of cases, it's almost impossible to completely avoid distortion. You're always going to have a little bit that you might have to work with, but we'll go over how to weld it with minimal distortion, and we'll go over how to fix your metal if it has distorted a little bit. So when it comes to welding sheet metal like this, normally you're butt welding it and then just grinding down the weld smooth. So the two goals here are avoiding distortion as much as possible and getting good penetration so the joint doesn't break apart after you grind down the weld. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a piece of aluminum on the back side of the joint to help soak out some of the heat and then clamp down the metal on the outside to minimize the distortion here. I know in a lot of cases you can't do this, but this is the ideal situation. Even if you can just somehow clamp aluminum to the back side of the joint, that in itself will help tremendously with distortion. So since we don't really care what the weld looks like, since we're just grinding it down, I always like going down and tacking this up a lot. But the way I tack this up is I'll tack it up every few inches, and then I'll tack it up halfway in between the previous tacks, and then tack it up halfway again until I have about 3/4 to ½ inch of space between each tack. So once I have it tacked up, I'm actually going to backstep weld across this joint. So backstepping is when you weld little sections of the joint at a time in the opposite direction of the direction you're traveling. So for example, if you want to weld this joint left to right, I would weld each ½ inch section here, right to left, all the way down this joint, as you can see I'm doing here. By doing this, you're slowly welding this thing together and minimizing the heat buildup on this joint. And minimizing the heat buildup on this joint is gonna help minimize the distortion that we end up with. Now, as far as settings goes, since we're just making short, tiny welds, you want to make sure your settings are hot enough that in that short amount of time you are welding, you are penetrating through the joint. And when trying to avoid distortion here, welding hot and fast really helps here. So for situations where you're welding super thin stuff, to help you out even more with avoiding distortion, you can drop down your wire size that you're welding with to like 0.23, and then you can run lower with your settings and make your weld smaller to also help minimize the heat you put into the metal. After you get done welding out the joint like this, we'll let it cool completely before we take off the clamps, and then we'll see if we need to fix any distortion. As you can see here, once we remove the clamps, once it's cooled completely, there's barely any distortion here, and that's because of the aluminum we had back in the joint and also clamped around it. So for scenarios where you can't put aluminum on the back side of the joint or clamp it down at all, I have this joint hanging off the edge of my table to kind of mimic this situation. So the way I tacked it up before is exactly the way I'll tack it up here. Now, once I get down to about ½ inch to 1/4 inch of space in between each tack, I'm going to jump back and forth and fill in those spaces with tack welds to spread out my heat and keep my heat buildup low. So I'm pretty much just tack welding this whole joint together here. Now, this isn't the prettiest weld in the world, but it should still be strong because I kept my settings hot, so with every tack I place, I penetrated through the joint. So when you go to grind this down, it should still be a strong joint. Now you can see here we have a little bit of distortion, and honestly you could fix this by using the over tacking technique like I went over in one of my previous distortion videos, but I just forgot to do that in this situation. So since the weld shrinks and that is the area that distorts the metal, that is the area that we are going to be working on. So what I'm going to do here is just start hammering down the joint and sandwich the weld between my hammer and the table here, and that will help relax the welded area and then help our distortion. So as you can see here, once I do just a little bit of hammering, this piece came out pretty straight, and then we'll grind down this weld and we should be good. So if you're having any sort of trouble with MIG welding, come check out the channel because I have some videos that go over some common challenges that beginners face when first learning how to MIG weld. And I also just created a Facebook community group you can join too. So if you're having any struggles with anything welding related, you can post a question and a picture of what you're struggling with, and I can directly answer you and help you out there. And if you would like an ultimate MIG welding troubleshooting guide for a specific issue you might have, you can click this video right here.